Imagine warm ash underfoot at the dawn of humanity. In the quiet of an Eastern African morning, a small band of people pauses. Smoke curls from a fire, and the sweet scent of roasted tubers fills the air. They are guided only by the stars and the stories passed from one generation to the next, a time when memory was the only map. These first steps would eventually become the great migrations that peopled the earth. Later, the promise of a harvest tied people to the soil, binding seasons to calendars and surplus to the birth of hierarchy. Along the fertile edges of great rivers, fields fed towns that swelled into the first empires. In Mesopotamia, the Nile Basin, and the Indus Valley, scribes pressed history into clay. From market stalls to temple courts, a new kind of order was written into existence. Farther east, the Yellow River Plains shaped states that valued archives and administration, while across the ocean, terraced mountains rose in the Andes and stepped pyramids reached for Mesoamerican skies. To turn strangers into citizens and memory into a permanent record, empires linked taxation with ritual and built roads not just for armies, but for ideas. Hinduism and Buddhism offered paths through suffering. Confucian thought outlined a moral society, and in the lands around the Mediterranean, Judaism, Christianity, and later Islam wove together law, story, and scholarship, creating practices that would shape the world. The echoes of these ancient bargains between order and meaning still resonate today in our laws, our calendars, and our institutions. This growing world was not isolated. It was connected by a vast network of caravans and ships. The Silk Roads carried not just silk, but scripture. Indian Ocean routes swapped spices and the wisdom of the monsoons. Trans-Saharan caravans moved gold, salt, and song. For a time, the Mongol Empire intensified this exchange across continents, even as the Americas and Oceania remained worlds apart. But soon, new sails would reach for a planetary sea, and every shore would begin to hear the stories of the others. Salt spray stitches the planet's seams together under a dawn that new maps have not yet learned to name. A sailor stands on a creaking deck in the Caribbean around the year 1500. On shore, a new world awakens to the taste of sugarcane and the rattle of chains. This encounter triggered a cascade of irreversible change. The Columbian Exchange altered diets and unleashed devastating diseases, while the Atlantic slave trade shattered millions of lives to build immense fortunes. A new age of science tested the heavens, while the Enlightenment questioned who should hold power on Earth. Revolutions flared, from a northern colony to Haiti, from France to an entire southern continent. Factories drew millions into crowded cities, as steam and steel braided the globe into a single market. By the 19th century, machines had tilted the world's balance of power, creating a great convergence dominated by new empires. But this global order would soon shatter. The First World War broke the old empires, and the hopes that followed cracked under pressure. Authoritarianism rose from the ashes, leading to the devastation of the Second World War and the horror of the Holocaust. From those ruins, a new framework for the world emerged: the United Nations, an age of decolonization, and a tense Cold War that divided the planet. In our time, globalization and the information revolution have woven our lives together more tightly than ever before, a deep interdependence exposed by climate shocks and pandemics. Today, the device in your hand is a testament to those ancient sea lanes and modern supply chains. And it is this very interdependence that shapes our lives and our choices as we navigate the challenges of a crowded, multipolar world.